Welcome to the That's Life podcast, where we discuss the ups and downs of life and everything in between. Here's your host, Shane Lakita.
Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of That's Life with Liquid Shano. I am loving this, guys. I'm loving the feedback I've been getting. I'm loving everything about this podcast. I'm loving the new direction we're moving in. I'm loving some of the stuff we're doing, some of the volunteering we're doing, incorporating it in with giving back and being kind. It's a pretty amazing state of affairs that we're in right now with the podcast and everything else. So to all of those that have listened and downloaded and taken the time to be able to send me words of encouragement or anything like that, I just wanted to tell you I appreciate you. I appreciate you and your feedback. I appreciate you and everything that you're trying to do, along with listening to the things that I'm trying to do, and us working together towards going for our goals and our aspirations and our dreams and all these things. If it wasn't for you and wasn't for me, I don't think a lot of us would be as successful as we are, but we need our tribes. We need our people. We got to have our people. You, me, everybody else. If you don't have a tribe whatsoever in real life, as in family or friends or anybody like that, well, you've got us. And at the end of the day, you're just trying to fight the good fight just like we are. And we're all trying to be able to put one foot in front of the other and just be the best version of ourselves, along with being successful, being victorious, putting on our warrior suits and just doing everything we have to do. But it's so important to know in our minds and in our hearts that we've got tribe. You've got a tribe, and I've got a tribe, and you're part of that. So thank you. Thank you for all those that downloaded, all those that have been listening, all those that have made feedback and stuff. So, well, this week I was going through my overall just every day. So let me give you a little snapshot real quick. So every morning that I wake up, I try to be able to start my day off with some sort of affirmation. Now, I know it sounds cheesy and I know it sounds kind of silly at times, but I wanted to wake up every day and be intentional with my thoughts. I wanted to wake up and I wanted to say stuff like, hey, you know what? You're a rock star. Or, hey, you know what? You've been through a lot in your life. You've been tons of places and done a lot of things in your life, and you are super successful and you are on the right path. You may not be right where you want to be, but guess what? You're fighting the good fight. You're working as hard as you can. All these little things that I try to tell myself every single morning are important. It's stuff that we have to do. You have to affirm some of the decisions that you're making, affirm some of the paths that you're taking. Because if we don't, and then we don't believe in ourselves, and then we don't believe in the things that we're trying to do, well, then, are we ever going to get there? That's the real question. If you don't believe in yourself, and you're hoping that everybody else that's out there will believe in you, yet you don't believe in yourself, again, you're probably not going to be successful because you haven't taken the time to invest in yourself. You haven't taken the time to practice things and be able to do the things that you have to do. You haven't taken the time to be able to invest in you to know that when the crap hits the fan or things happen in life, you're going to be more prepared if you actually believe in you. You're going to be more prepared to be successful, move things forward, and continue to be the best version that you're meant to be. But oftentimes, we don't. We don't tell ourselves this. We don't hype ourselves up. We don't give ourselves our affirmations. We don't tell ourselves, or actually, we don't actually reflect on all the things that we've been through. I mean, think about that. Think about everybody that's listening to this podcast right now. You got your ears on. You're listening to this thing right now. And if you were to take a look at all the things that you've been through in your life, man, that's a lot, right? I mean, that's a ton. But we don't look at it that way. We don't look at it as being a journey. We look at it as being the here and now. We look at, what have you done for me lately? Where am I at? What am I doing? How am I in this moment right now? Where am I? And oftentimes we're not where we want to be because we're trying to be able to fight through it. And then we're like, I don't know, just in this negative space. But if you take a look at all the stuff that you've been through and the stuff that you've gone through and celebrating that a little bit, take a look at the trials and the tribulations and the things that you've gone, the path that you've taken, the pivots that you've had to make, the right turn Clydes that you've had to go, all those things make you who you are. They make you the amazing individual that you are. Even if you're not successful right now, and even if you're not where you want to be, the fact of the matter is you've been through a lot in your life. You have a lot of things to share. You've got a lot of things to tap into, to be able to learn from. And quite frankly, you're a rock star. We all are. No matter how much we believe it or not, we all are rock stars. We've been through so much in life that our experience should be able to help us to be successful moving forward. Now, of course, that's a topic for another day. But at the end of the day, if you take a look at everything you've been through and you learn from all the stuff that you've done, you learn from all the places you've been, learn from all those skinned knees and broken elbows and falling down and trying to climb yourself back up and all those things, if you learn from those and you take notes from it and you're proud of where you were, even if you failed, you're going to be more apt to succeeding as you move forward. Now, it's easier said than done, and I understand all that. I really do. But it's true. It's absolutely true. If you don't get yourself in the right mind frame, you're just setting yourself up for failure. So you got to work on this stuff. You got to work on the internal stuff. You got to work on your internal windings. Because at the end of the day, if you are not working on you, you can sit there and try to put patches on there. You can try to put Band-Aids on it. You can try to put all this different stuff, nice shiny objects. You can even lose weight. You can even do all this different stuff. But if you are not fixing the situation and trying to be able to invest in yourself, repair yourself, and continue to set yourself up for success in the future, you may be setting yourself up for failure. And none of us want that. Nobody wants that. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for me. You don't want that for me, and you don't want that for yourself. We wouldn't want that for our kids, our family, anything like that. But at the end of the day, we have to learn to repair. We have to learn to adjust. We have to learn to invest in us. Because if we don't do that, if we don't invest in us and we don't sit there and try to be able to go, okay, there's a reason why I got to where I was, whether it was a failing state of weight loss or whether it was a failing state of fitness or financial or work-related stuff or whatever. If you look at your whole dynamic of where you've been and what you've been doing, and you don't take a look at how can I be better and how can I repair or take a look at investing in myself, if you don't look at that, if you don't literally dive in and just try to fix what's going on the inside, whether that's through therapy or that's through, I don't know, osmosis, whatever it is, there's no right or wrong answer. You just got to try to continue to work on that part of it. But you have to continue to work on you. You can't just continue to work on other people, or you can't just continue to focus on other places. You have to start with yourself. Because the only way that you're going to be able to literally go out there and fix anything else, anybody else in your family, kids, grandparents, parents, whatever it is, the only way you're going to successfully be able to do that is if you are continually investing in you, filling your cup, whether it's an emotional fill, whether it's a physical fill, whatever it is, a love fill, any of those things that you can do for yourself to be able to move things forward, you have to focus on that. Now, that's not what the topic of this podcast is, but I had to open with that because I've been feeling this way. I've been getting notes from people about the podcast and different stuff that we've been doing and everything else. And a lot of people start telling me flat out, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm so tired of when I turn on the news at night. It's just exhausting. I'm a parent of kids. Some kids have some learning disabilities or different stuff that goes on. And I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I'm beat down. I just can't do this. And we just keep on moving things forward. I hear this across the board. And is it seasonal? Maybe it's seasonal depression. Maybe it's because we're on the back end of winter and a lot of the New England and northern states are still battling through cold temperatures or whatever else. Maybe it's we haven't been able to get outside to get a lot of really good fresh air and sunshine and whatever else. Whatever it is, there's a lot of people feeling this way. So I wanted to share that with you because by you listening to this podcast right now and you putting your ears up to the microphone or up to the speakers and you're listening to me talk is one of the first steps you can do to helping yourself. Why? Because you're investing in you. You're learning. You're growing. You're trying to give yourself tools. You're trying to be able to give yourself things to put on your belt and your suit of armor to be able to go out there and make things happen. So just remember that. We have to invest in ourselves before we can invest in others. The old adage of putting on your mask, oxygen mask, when you're on a plane first before you help others is so damn true. It really is. But you got to get right. So I was reading something this week. It plays into the same exact kind of topic. But I was reading something this week, and it was about patience and perseverance. I like to look at it like this. We live in a society right now where everything you get, everything you do, everything you touch, everything you want to be able to get is at your fingertips, at your disposal, within 30 seconds, 10 seconds, or 5 seconds worth of clicking a button, pressing a screen on a phone, or whatever it is. We have everything at our disposal within minutes, if not milliseconds, of being able to get it. Whether it's through the Googles, whether it's through social medias, whatever it is, we have access to all of it, right? And it's instant gratification. If I ask my little Alexa or Google unit that's in my room and I say, hey, what's the weather going to be today? And they answer immediately afterwards, oh, it's going to be 32 degrees, partly sunny, blah, blah, blah. Instant gratification. So we get that, right? So we're training our brains on how to get instant gratification, instant relief at that moment in time. Just like medicines, just like any of these other things. They may just be patchwork or Band-Aids that we're putting on things, but they're quick fixes. They get things done. Well, here's the thing. I watched this little video and I posted it over on No Finish Line Nation and one of the other social media outlets that I'm on. And it was a coach. And the coach was on there talking about how when people are working for something that's worthy of them to work on it. So maybe they're trying to learn how to play a guitar. They take out the acoustic guitar. They may play one note, and they go on one day of trying to be able to learn how. Maybe they're opening up YouTube videos. Maybe they're looking at sheet music. Maybe they got a friend that's teaching them. Maybe they're trying to learn. And within the first day, you're really not even going to know how to play one single chord. I mean, you're literally just trying to jam out, and it's not really working that well, right? And so you get a little bit discouraged, but you keep on fighting through it, and you're going to keep on working at it. So after 5 days, you continue to work at it. After 5 days, you might be getting more and more frustrated because you're kind of failing in certain areas. You're not picking it up as fast as you wanted to. And it's not that instant gratification of just knowing it and learning it and getting it done. And then you don't have patience with yourself and you got other stuff going on in your life. You got all these dramatic situations, whether it takes your time, takes your energy, takes your money, whatever it is. We're all fighting through it, right? So you're going through 5 days worth of that training on a guitar. And you still aren't where you want to be. As a matter of fact, you might have even taken a step back because you're trying to be able to learn different chords and different levels and whatever else you're trying to be able to do with this guitar. But after 5 days, you're really just like not where you want to be. And so now you're getting frustrated. Day 1, you expect it. Day 5, you expect to be a little bit better. Day 10, now we're looking at it going, okay, I've been doing this for 10 days straight. I should be much further ahead than what I am. But guitar is a very complex thing. You got to move the chords. You got to learn the notes. You got to learn the different scales and your fingers and all these different things. It's a whole immersive thing that you have to put yourself through to be able to learn it and learn it well. So this coach talked about when you go through that and you're trying to be able to train for something that's worthwhile to you. You're trying to be able to train for something that you feel is a goal of yours or an aspiration or a dream. And after 1, 5, 10, 30 days, you're still not where you want to be. But if you continue to do it, now this is what he said, if you continue to practice and you continue to put the work in and you grind at it for 100 days or more, now that may seem like a lot, but it really isn't. It's basically 3 months, right? So if you're fighting for the good fight and it's worthwhile to you, and you continue to practice every day. You put the work in. You're learning, whether you're watching videos, or you're learning from instructions or whatever else. After the 100-day mark, now you start to go, wait a minute, I know how to play that song. Wait a minute, I can pick up on that pretty quick. So then all of a sudden, some of the things that you found so difficult and so monumental and so huge and so cumbersome, over and over and over again, we're sitting there giving up on our dreams and those kind of things because we get frustrated and that instant gratification is not met at that moment in time. But after 100 days of continuing to practice every day for hours and continuing to work at it because you're passionate about it, you believe in it, and this is the direction you want to move in, you're going to pick up on stuff. You're going to understand that, oh, wait a minute. All this hard work is starting to pay off. Wait a second here. Hold on. I'm getting kind of good at this. I feel kind of confident in this. I can play this song, and I never even thought I could. I can play more than one chord at a time. I can play some harmonies. I can play different chords. I can play different sheets. I can do whatever I got to do. I'm learning quickly, if you want to say in the grand scheme of things. But you didn't think when you first started, if I do this for 100 days, oh my goodness, 100 days, that's so long. But after you get past that 100-day mark, and every day you're practicing, and every day you're grinding, and every day you're making it happen, and every day you're fulfilling a dream, and you're going for your aspiration, you're doing whatever you have to do. You're working at it, you're driven, you're focused, and you're making it happen. And then all of a sudden, you can play the guitar, and now you the man, or you the woman, because you're picking up on stuff. You're working hard. You're taking the time to continue to invest in you. Hey guys, one of the things that I get from a lot of individuals that listen to the show, that watch the show, that follow me on social media is, how can I help the podcast? Well, here's one of the ways that you can. I have a Patreon page. Now, you may not be familiar with what a Patreon page is, but what you can do is you could sign up to become a patron of the show. You could donate monthly to the show. Now, after a few months of donating monthly to the show, there's different tiers to be able to donate to. But you'll get some tchotchkes back. You'll get some merchandise back. You'll get something for actually donating to the show. But in the meantime, it helps to alleviate some of the cost that comes into running a podcast or doing different stuff. So if you're looking to support, I'm going to place the link of the Patreon page right into the bio. And I'll also tell you what it is. It's www.patreon.com/that's_life. And this way, you can support the podcast, you can give back, we can do all kinds of different stuff, and we can grow together. So I appreciate all the support you've given me in the past and in the future and right now. So thank you so much, and back to the show. You're practicing. You're going through the ups and downs. You're doing everything you have to do, because none of us are experts at anything in life, anything. And if you are an expert, I'd like to meet you. Because there are no experts. There are people that have gone through, maybe have more experience, maybe they have some more successes than others do, and then they can share those and be able to move those forward. But at the end of the day, nobody's perfect. 0%. What is it, Blutarski? 0.0 when it comes to the amount of people that are absolutely perfect. Because nobody is. If you're picking up on a new skill set or you're trying to be able to do something, you're a novice. You're not an expert. You're just trying, and you want to be able to learn. If you're jumping out of planes, which I don't understand the concept of jumping out of planes. I like my 2 feet being on the ground, but so be it. Whatever floats your boat. If you're jumping out of planes, guess what? The first couple times, you're going to be like, I don't even know what the hell I'm doing right now. I don't know how to do this. I'm not an expert at this. What am I doing? I'm flailing around. I'm trying to listen to the instructor. The wind's in my face. I'm doing all this different stuff. But after 100 of those dives, now you feel confident. You feel like you can do it. You feel like you're in control. You feel like you can move through it, and you can even teach others, and you can even have fun with it instead of just doing it as a task to be able to move it forward. After 100 days of doing it every day, practicing and practicing and practicing to get there, you then go from being a novice or a beginner or somebody that doesn't know what they're doing to now you're somebody that actually, whoa, wait a minute, I'm picking up on this. This is kind of nice. I like this. This is what my dream was all about. And it took me a while to get here, but man, it feels good. Now, this could be relatable to any single thing you're working on. This could be skydiving. This could be artwork. This could be music. It could be absolutely anything you're trying to work on. And at the end of the day, you have to put the work in to get the reward out. You have to put the work in to become that expert that you want to become or do the things that you have to do. Just like in weight loss. How many of you have gone through You try to work at it. Maybe you lost a little bit of weight at first, but then you hit that plateau and you're sitting there waiting and you're like, I'm not even getting to that 60 pounds I wanted to lose. It's frustrating. You're skinning your knee. You're scraping your elbow. You're doing all these things to be able to try to make it happen, but you're not an expert. None of us are. There's a reason why the society that we live in these days is a pretty large society, because not a lot of people know and are experts at how to be able to maintain and travel through that, especially with all the stuff that we're eating, with all these preservatives and all these things that they put into food and steroids and all this other stuff that they do. It doesn't help the cause, right? But you have to navigate through that and you have to figure that out. What can I eat? What can I eat? What can I do? How do I move this forward? But you're not going to be able to get there unless you practice. You have to practice over and over and continue to move forward. And the other part of practice really is all about, what do you do when you're with a coach and you're on the basketball court and you got 5 kids out there just trying to work at it, right? They're running post-ups, they're running 3-point drills, they're doing layup drills, whatever else. But guess what? They practice as well. And the reason that they practice is because they need to, one, hone their craft and become more comfortable where they're at and what they're playing. But the second piece of that is they need to adapt, pivot, and overcome. Now, this is the same thing we need to do in our lives. So if you're on a court and you're on a basketball court and you're not an expert, you're not in the NBA, you're not a pro, and even those, if you ever listen to some of the stories of some of these basketball players that are absolutely phenomenal basketball players, the best of the business, Michael Jordan, all these guys, Shaquille O'Neal, whatever it is, but they practiced every single day for hours upon hours upon hours because they put the work in, because they knew, if I can do it in practice, if I can make this happen and I can hone my craft and get really, really good at what I do, then at the end of the day, my path for success is so much better and so much easier to get there. I guess I shouldn't use the word easier, because none of these paths are easy. Otherwise, we'd all be doing it in 2 seconds. But whatever it is you're working on, if it's worth it for you, to be able to fulfill your dream or check off the boxes of your bucket list or do whatever it is, if it's worth it for you, then put the work in to making it worth your while. Because if you just do 5 days or you just do 1 day, like I opened this whole thing up with, and you just put a little bit of work in and you're like, okay, good to go. But then all of a sudden you hit a bump in the road. Oh boy. That bump in the road that I just hit is not going to be a very good one, because now I'm looking at it going, hold on, wait a minute. Now, if there's a bump in the road, do I overcome that bump? Do I adapt? Do I fall down? Do I skin my knee? Do I give up? Because more often than not, a lot of us just give up. We don't go back to the things that we know are beneficial to us. We don't go back to the things of staying the course, practicing what you should be practicing, honing your craft, and doing all the things you need to do. Why? Because it takes work, it takes effort. And again, in this society of just push-button technology and push-button instant gratification, that's not going to happen in these situations. You have to work at it. You have to overcome adversity. You've got to tune out the noise. You've got to practice. You've got to put the time in. You've got to put the labor in. You've got to put the love in. You've got to put the sweat, the blood, and the tears in. You've got to do everything you have to do. Because if it was easy, like I said before, and it would just took one time to practice it out, and you were an expert at it, every single person would be doing it. We wouldn't have any issues. But everybody is imperfect. We are all perfectly imperfect. And we have to work at the things that we want to work at. You've got to put the grind in. So if this coach is talking about, here we are, trying to be able to be an expert at guitar playing or wrestling or weight loss or whatever, you can't just rely on one little practice and one little session. You just can't do it. Now, I know all of you know this, but why do we still live in that space? We know it, yet we still do it. We know that it takes work. We know that it takes time and energy and all these different things. We know all this. All of us know it. But the problem is that I don't know if, one, we really want it as bad as we think we do, right? That's one. And two, we crawl back into our old habits, the bad habits, the ones that can be viewed as lazy, or could be viewed as something that, this person doesn't really want anything and they're just like going through the motions and blah, blah, blah. Of course, they don't know what's going on inside of you, and you shouldn't care what they think, but that's okay. That's easier said than done as well. But at the end of the day, you, my friends, are amazing. You, my friends, are capable of doing anything that you set your mind to. But the problem is you may set your mind to it, but you don't want to put the work in to be able to make that happen. So our time is now. Our time is right now to do the things that we always wanted to do, to live the life we've always wanted to live. I don't care if you're 75 years old and you have lived a full life of 75 years old, and there's 2 or 3 things that you want to accomplish in your life. It's never too late. We can set our minds to it, and we can do the work. So that's the other part that I wanted to bring into this podcast. What's your plan? We're talking about mind over matter, right? We're talking about getting our mindset in the right place. Here we are. Okay, I got a goal set out that I'm gonna practice every day for at least 100 days to continue to move this forward. And then after the 100 days, I can reevaluate and take a look at it. And if it's not working in a certain way, I can adjust and pivot and whatever else. But okay, mind over matter. Here's my mindset. This is where I'm at. I'm gonna make this happen. Let's effing go, right? Let's go. Let's do this, right? That's the first part. The second part is, how are you gonna do it? How are you going to carve out the time for you to practice the way you need to practice? How are you going to remove some of the distractions to be able to do the things that you have to do? I always hear, I'm so busy. My life's upside down. And these are valid reasons. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to belittle those reasons, because life is busy, life is hectic, and it's upside down a lot of times. And I get it, because mine is too. I'm working 2 or 3 jobs and trying to be able to just make ends meet and put food on the table, right? But at the end of the day, you've got to not only get the right mindset, but you've got to plan out how you're going to be able to make this happen. You need to give yourself the tools to be able to be successful. You need to give yourself the opportunity to actually be successful in whatever it is that you're trying to be able to do. So if you've got to go through a calendar, a 100-day calendar, and write down each day, this is what I'm going to carve out time to be able to practice this way. This is how I'm going to do this. Now, if it's weight loss and it's dieting, or it's eating right, or whatever it is, that's still a great thing to be able to put down in a journal, or to write these things down to give yourself success, or maybe prep your foods, or portion controls, or whatever it is, or use some apps, or et cetera, et cetera. Or if you want to play the guitar, make sure that you carve out a half hour to an hour every single night, or most nights, maybe 5 nights a week or whatever, to be able to meet your goal of hitting that 100 days of practicing and move it forward because you're passionate about it. And the other part of it is, are you truly passionate about what you're trying to work on? That's the other question, guys. Don't just do something and check off the box and say, just doing it because I can. Do it because you want to. Do it because you love to do it. You want to. You desire to be at a level of some sort of expertise or some sort of ability to be able to move it forward. So you've got your mind over matter set, right, where you can say, okay, good. Now I know what I got to do. I know it's going to take practice. It's going to take work. I was listening to Shane on the podcast, and he said to me, make sure that you're setting yourself up for success, to make sure that you give yourself the time to do so. So there's my mindset. Now I've got my calendar out. I'm going to make sure that every day I'm going to put a little bit of work in just to be able to continue to move forward. And let me tell you something. 100 days of a really small amount of effort, this coach said. 100 days of small effort means you're moving forward. And you continue to move forward and continue to do it. It may not just take 100 days. Maybe it takes 5,000 days. But every day you're making an effort to move it forward. But 100 days of no effort equals 0 outcome. Means no success is going to happen there. Which would you rather have? Would you rather be able to move it forward in a positive space and be able to be successful and kill it and do what you got to do? Or would you rather be in a space of never really trying anything, or trying it and failing and then giving up? And then you're looking at yourself going, man, why didn't I continue to move forward? I got all these zeros on my list here, right? And lastly, I'll tell you what, I'll tell you what. Now, I know this is all ideal. This is the ideal situation if you can try to move through this and be able to set your goals up and do the things you have to do. Lastly, I want to throw my own attitude in this. I want to throw my own thing that I want to be able to bring into play. Give yourself grace if you fall. Practice doesn't just mean you're going to be perfect every time. Practice means you're probably going to fail. You're probably going to fall. You're going to struggle. It's going to be hard. And you're not going to be able to do it just so easily that you can snap a finger at. So give yourself grace on the days that you just don't feel it. But guess what? You still did it. You may not feel it, but you still did it. How many times have you tried to go to the gym and you say to yourself, I need to go to the gym, and I don't want to go. I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to even touch the weights. I don't want to go in there to use the treadmill. It's going to be too busy. It's cold outside. I got to make it to the gym. Oh, I can't walk outside. I can't do it. Oh, you got all these millions of excuses coming around for you to be able to go do the things you have to do. You don't want to do it, and then maybe you pry yourself off the couch if you're successful, and then you go to the gym to do it, and then you get your workout done, and then all of a sudden you're reflecting. You're saying to yourself, damn it, I'm so glad I went to the gym. Damn it, that felt really good. It's euphoric, and I feel like nothing's bothering me now, and I feel like I'm just in a really good place. I may not have done everything I wanted to do at the gym, but I got my workout in. I feel good about what I did, and I'm successful. So the pre-work that you did, or negative talk that you did, can be detrimental. Can you overcome that negative space? Can you overcome those negative thoughts that are in your brain telling you do not go, do not do this, because you're tired, you're exhausted, you're frustrated, you're pissed off, you got all these things going on, not in the mood, et cetera, et cetera. But if you can overcome that inner voice that's going on inside of you, that little person that's inside of you going, yo, listen, this isn't good, man. Like, you're going to fail in this one. If you can overcome that and do that small amount of practice that you have to do and follow the rule of your calendar that you have set aside an hour or a half hour of time for you to practice the things that you want to do to be successful. If you can overcome that, that's the biggest hurdle of all. It's the biggest hurdle of all. Our inner voice is the biggest hurdle of all. So this is why practice over and over and over again matters. You're going to start to build the skill set of how to overcome that little voice. You're going to start to build the skill set of, you can't tell me not to do that. I'm going to go do that because I'm a rock star and I'm going to make this happen. No matter what anybody says, no matter what I tell myself, we're going to keep moving forward. We're going to do what's necessary. So all of us, you, me, and every other set of ears that are listening to this podcast right now, just know I believe in you. Just know that I know you can do it. But you got to put the work in. The work of the mind, the work of the physical aspect of it, the work of pivoting and making changes and adjustments, and the work of knowing that you're worth continuing to move forward in this space and be the best version of you. Right? Again, easier said than done. It's all of our objectives to make that happen. But I'm hoping that you can take a little bit from this podcast, utilize some of the tools that we were talking about, put a goal in place of at least 100 days of practicing something that you love to do, and watch how far you soar. Talk soon, guys. See ya.
Thank you for listening to the That's Life podcast. Please leave us a 5-star rating and any feedback on whatever platform you're using.